The Rams season is over and this one hurts. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramley, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Join the fastest growing Rams YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and I want your reaction down below. What are your thoughts on the Rams division round loss to the Eagles? Let me know down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've been covering LA sports for over a decade. 24/7 Sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. Travis Rogers will be back tomorrow. But we got a jam-packed show. We are breaking down the Rams' 28-22 loss to the Eagles in the division round. But first, today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. Terms and conditions apply. So it was a thrilling game, a heartbreaking loss, a loss that really epitomized the Rams season in that you overcome a lot of obstacles. You fought till the bitter end. It looked like you were done. It looked like your season was a wrap. And then you come off the mat and you try to land a couple more haymakers. And they were landing punches until the very end. And one thing that I want to say from the top is sometimes there's plays that you remember for a long time. And one play I'm going to remember is 3rd and 2 from the Eagles' 13-yard line. The Rams with a chance, down 6, to tie it and go ahead with an extra point, giving the Eagles very little time to try to win this one. And Jalen Carter, he beats Bo Limmer right off the snap and causes that 9-yard loss that led to a 4th and 11. The Rams weren't able to convert. But if you look at the all-22, Tyler Higbee was open over the middle. If Bo Limmer is able to find some way to slow down Jalen Carter and Matthew Stafford has a couple more seconds, that is where Stafford likely was going. That would have either scored a touchdown or put the Rams down somewhere inside the 5. And that's just one of those plays, one of those big what ifs, because really a blown opportunity for this Rams team. And yes, you overcame the elements. It was 6 to 8 inches of snow. You had 2 costly fumbles that led to 6 points in the second half. You had a couple of miscues in the red zone too that prevent you from scoring touchdowns. But even considering all of that, you had a chance to win this one late. And had you have done that, you would have hosted the Washington Commanders at home in the NFC Championship game. So that's what makes this one sting that much more. Is because the Lions lost to the Commanders at home, the Rams were in a position where if you knocked off this 14-win Eagles team on the road, you would have really liked your chances at home against the Commanders to go and make this improbable Super Bowl run, but that's in another universe. But let's break this one down because there's so much to get into. And we're going to start from the very, very beginning of the game because there was a lot of plays in this one, a lot of situations where had something gone just a little different for the Rams, you would have felt a lot better about their chances. But the game started and it looked like it was going to be a runaway. And one of the big keys heading into this one was, do you slow down Jalen Hurts? Do you slow down Saquon Barkley and this potent, explosive rushing attack for the Philadelphia Eagles? And that's what makes it interesting too, is Saquon Barkley had 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a 62-yard touchdown, a 78-yard touchdown. He exploded. Rams still had a chance to win. Jalen Hurts, very first drive of the game, very first drive of the game for the Eagles. He breaks off a 44-yard touchdown run. And you're just 3 minutes into this one. That put the Eagles up 6-0 early. They do mix the extra point. And the Rams, just like we saw against the Vikings, had a good game plan early. Had the offense locked in to start this one. And they score a touchdown on their opening drive. They go 67 yards on 13 plays. They cap it off with a 4-yard touchdown to Tyler Higbee. And just like that, the Rams are up 7-6 early. Then the very next possession down the line, the Eagles, they get the explosive play from Saquon Barkley. Saquon goes 62 yards for a touchdown. That puts the Eagles up 13-7. Rams bounce back. Matthew Stafford, he hits DeMarcus Robinson on a 48-yard catch deep down the field, but the Rams were able to capitalize in the red zone. They come up with a field goal. That makes it a 13-10 game. And one of the stories in the first half was the Rams' inability to convert on third down. The Rams going 2 for 6 on third down in the first half. And really, some of these tackles for a loss really hurt you on third and short. And Kyren Williams' inability to really just get those first downs when you needed to. Really a mixed bag for Kyren. Really a very solid game from some aspects, but costly fumbles from others, but great blocking. We saw some explosive plays. So yeah, the kind of the good and the bad with Kyren Williams still, they wouldn't have been in the position that they were late in the game without the game he had. So we'll talk a little more about him. And then right before the half, the 13-10 game, it looked like the Eagles were going to score again. The Eagles, they get to the Rams' 32-yard line, but a big sack from Omar Speights, and then Jared Verse, he gets a sack. He had back-to-back sacks, first by Speights, then by Jared Verse, and that ends the Eagles' half, and they don't put any points. So the Rams down 13-10 at the half, receiving to start the second half, and you're feeling really good about it, but both teams, they get 3 and outs to start the second half. But then next possession for the Rams, Cooper Kupp, he hauls in a 30-yard pass on 3rd and 4. Next play, Kyren Williams, he breaks off a 30-yard run. But then the offense, they stalled in the red zone once again. You had the fumbled handoff on first down. Then Matthew Stafford gets sacked on third down. The Rams, they're only able to get that field goal, but that ties things up at 13. So Josh McCarty hits that 34-yard field goal, but you would have liked to put a touchdown there. You would have liked to push it in the end zone, get that tutty, and the Rams would have had their first lead since it was 7-6. So it was a missed opportunity there and a fumble, the sack. And then the Eagles, they take a 16-13 lead, 2:19 left to go in the third quarter on a 44-yard field goal. But the Rams are right in this one. And one thing I said heading into this one was survive the first and second quarter. Survive the third quarter. Put yourself in a position where you get to the fourth quarter and the pressure's on the Eagles to finish the job. And the Rams were certainly in this one. And it's 16-13, and then you get all the momentum heading into the fourth quarter after they get a big safety with 26 seconds left to play in the third quarter. They get a safety. It was a sack by Gallimore. It makes it a 16-15 game. And then this is where the fumbles really start to cost the Rams. Very first play of the fourth quarter, Kyren Williams fumbles it, and it was just a massive momentum shift because the Rams, they got the safety, they got the ball, they got the momentum, and it's just a 3rd and 2, and the ball gets poked out. The Eagles recovered it, and they return it 40 yards to the Rams' 10-yard line. If it weren't for Kevin Dotson, that would have been a touchdown. K-Dot, he knocked down Isaiah Rodgers out of bounds. That saved him 4 points. The Rams do a good job of keeping them out of the end zone, and they kick a field goal. Then on the ensuing possession, Matthew Stafford fumbles. Then the Eagles get another field goal, but a really nice job by this Rams defense to keep this Eagles team out of the end zone. Both those situations, you had a false start on Philly that took away a touchdown. They looked like it was going to be a successful brotherly shove and lead to another touchdown, but they get the false start. That pushes them back and forth the field goal. And the Rams are still in this thing. It's 22-15. They're down a touchdown with 6:18 left to play. And then later, with 4:36 left to play, the Eagles with the ball, it looked like this was the final blow. Saquon Barkley gets a 78-yard touchdown. That made a 28-15 game. It was game over. Post the thank you fams appreciation post on X and Instagram if you're the Rams social media, but not so fast. Like we've seen all year, this Rams team fought back, and they almost pulled off one of the most insane comebacks late in the game in NFL playoff history that we've seen in recent memory, and we're going to tell you what happened. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. Growing your small business in 2025 comes down to how well you can hire. And let's face it, better hires start with smarter insights. That's where LinkedIn comes in. With the strongest hiring data available, LinkedIn helps you identify the right candidates, giving you the confidence to make the best decisions for your business. I've used LinkedIn Jobs myself, and I can tell you it's a game changer when it comes to hiring the right fit. Small businesses are wearing a lot of hats, so every hire is crucial. LinkedIn gets that. That's why they connect you with the best candidates using data you won't find anywhere else. From unique skills and interests to the connections you share, LinkedIn helps you find the right person for the job. In fact, 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn has helped them find high quality candidates. I know from experience how important it is to make the right hiring decisions. Having access to insights like what skills candidates have or how they're connected to your network. That helps you feel confident when you pull the trigger. And you look at hiring right now, I know Locked On, this companies I work for, they go to LinkedIn first because there's just no mess around on LinkedIn. I mean, you know where the person worked, you know what kind of candidate they are. LinkedIn Jobs is the standard right now when it comes to hiring. Hire smarter this year and find out the next great hire for your team on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. It's playoff time, NFL fans, and if you're like me, you want to make the most of these final weeks of football action. That's where Prize Picks comes in. If you love football and want a chance to win real money while watching the games, Prize Picks is the place for you. It's the best way to turn your sports opinions into cash with daily fantasy player projections. With Prize Picks, you simply pick more or less on player stats like total passing yards or rushing touchdowns, and for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. You can make your picks in less than 60 seconds, and whether you're looking for a flex play to boost your payout or want to cash out quickly, Prize Picks has got you covered. And with over 10 million members and billions in winnings, it's clear that people are loving this platform. I've been playing for a while now, and I'm having a blast. Today, I'm looking at the national championship game. I got more than 79.5 receiving yards for Jeremiah Smith. I've got more than 57.5 rushing yards for Travion Henderson. The Buckeyes going up against the Fighting Irish. That explosive offense should be a good one in the national championship game in Atlanta. And also, it's just easy to use. I love how fast the payouts are. Seriously, I've gotten paid out in as little as 15 minutes when my pick hits. Plus, the weekly promos like Taco Tuesday discounts and even more value that brings to Prize Picks. Here's a special offer for Locked On NFL listeners. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Prize Picks. Run your game. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Also want to send a special shout out to those everyday listeners out there watching and listening and tuning in all year long. And it's going to get even bigger and better this offseason because this is a Rams team that really has shown us as a fan base, showed us in the media that they are going to be competing every single year. The defense, the offense, the special teams, everyone really improved this entire season, and they're only going to get better. You got the draft, you got free agency, so make sure you're locked in all offseason. I'm going to be here for you guys 24/7, 365, all Rams here on the Locked On Podcast Network. So let's get into the second half because it looked like it was over. It looked like it was done. It was like TikTok is done. The TikTok app is canceled. And then all of a sudden you log on, TikTok is back. That was the Rams. They were back just when you thought they were done. And they have a 10-play drive that led to a Colby Parkinson touchdown. And just like that, the Rams are back in this one. And the Eagles, they did miss a key extra point. So just like that, it is a 28-22 game. And then they get the big stop on the very next drive. They hold that Eagles team and they get the ball with just over 2 minutes to play, down 28-22 with a chance to go up late and steal this one and get back to LA in time to get ready to host the Commanders for an NFC Championship game. It's like, look at how quickly things change in the blink of an eye. And then they're driving. You had the incredible catch by Puka Nacua, 37-yard reception down the right sideline, late there. Did a great job just shielding it, kind of caught it with his shoulder, gets the 2 feet in bounds. And this Eagles defense was reeling. Matthew Stafford looked like he was going to pull off some Matthew Stafford magic like we've seen so many times in his career. And the pivotal play, the Rams, they drive down to the 13-yard line. They're at the 13, and it's a 3rd and 2, and Bo Limmer just lets Jalen Carter right by him. And look, he made a play. You got to give him credit. Bo Limmer is someone who I told you was going to be the Rams version of Puka Nacua on the offensive line, and I said that yeah, he might not be the all-pro level, Pro Bowl level guy, star that Puka Nacua is, but he was going to be that diamond in the rough this year for the draft that was going to turn into a long-term starter. And it looks like I was right about Bo Limmer. And just look, Jalen Carter made a play. You got to give him credit. I do think that there was still enough time to run the football one more time potentially in this one, so I wouldn't have been mad to see Kyron Williams get the ball right there. But with Matthew Stafford cooking, with the time on the clock, and with the fact that, go look at the all-22 if you want some nightmare fuel. If Jalen Carter doesn't make that play, Tyler Higbee's wide open over the middle, and he would have either scored, it would have been down inside the 5-yard line. And it was huge. I mean, the 9-yard loss there on the sack, that set up a 4th and 11 from the Eagles 21. And that really not a very competitive play there. Stafford elects to go to Puka Nacua. The ball sails, didn't really have a chance at it. The Rams wanted pass interference, but they were going to get that call. Not enough there. You're not going to get that whistle in that situation. So a real heartbreaking loss. I have to admit, I mean, I have a lot of emotions about this one. This one really hurts. This one really hurts just because there's a couple ways you can look at this one. You can say to yourself, like we said at the top of the show, that no matter what, this was a Rams season that most people didn't predict. Everyone had the Rams 30, 31, towards the bottom of the league in their power rankings at one point. The Rams were picked behind the 49ers and the Eagles, and by some, the Arizona Cardinals in the division. I had the Rams winning the division in the NFC West preview show, but not a lot of people picked the Rams to even be competitive in this division, and they were proven right early in this season when the Rams started 1-4. They also had a very tough schedule out of the gates. You suffered injuries. Puka Nacua was out. Cooper Kupp was out. You lost some offensive linemen, but you also were able to build. And it was Chris Shula's first year as a defensive coordinator, and you have these young emerging talents, rookies, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, who have a bright future, Kobe Turner and Byron Young, who continue to take steps towards being, I think Kobe Turner's already someone who's one of the best pass rushers on the planet. But the defense figured things out. They got healthy. They go on to win 9 of their next 12 games, and they did what no one thought was possible. And that was, not only did they make the playoffs, they won the division. The division that had a team that a lot of people thought was going to compete for the Super Bowl in the San Francisco 49ers. But the San Francisco 49ers, they're not going to New Orleans. They've been in Cancun for a long time now. And not only that, you win a playoff game. And you do it in basically a neutral site because of the wildfires in Southern California. You were displaced. So the Rams did a lot of great things this season. The Rams overcame so many obstacles and showed their grit, showed their tenacity, showed their fight. But having said all that, what makes this one sting is knowing that it was the miscues, the self-inflicted wounds that are the main reason why the Rams season is over. If the Rams don't fumble twice, if Bo Limmer doesn't let Jalen Carter get past him, if you don't fumble in the red zone and take that sack early in the game, the Rams are going to be hosting the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. I mean, if it was a situation where you had to go on the road to face a Lions team, if the Lions had blown out the Commanders, it's like, okay, that's going to be a tough one. And sure, the Commanders are a really, really good team, and they're hot, and Jaden Daniels, he is going to be a top 5 quarterback in this league for a long time. Can't believe the Bears didn't take Jaden Daniels or Mahomes. Anyway, I digress on that one. But the Rams had a big opportunity. And with Matthew Stafford showing that he still has it, with this pass rush as ferocious as they've been, I would have really liked the Rams' chances in that one. So that's what makes this one really, really hurt more than most, is just because the path to the Super Bowl was right there and everything was breaking the Rams' way. You just had to find a way to beat this Eagles team in the snow, and unfortunately, they came up short. But Sean McVay, he said after the game, a lot of things that you would expect and how proud he was about this team. He said that it was a tough, hard-fought game. Give them credit. They made enough plays to win the game, but man, I'm damn proud to be associated with this football team. I didn't see it going any other way than us winning that game 29-28. I think this game in a lot of ways epitomizes the grit, the ability to overcome adversity. Just had a couple things that we couldn't overcome. There will be some things that we can learn from, but this is the time for gratitude, for appreciation. I love this group. I love this coaching staff. I love these players. And I also understand and appreciate how difficult it is to be in positions like this where you've got the game in hand. I feel like we had total control toward the latter part of that game. Momentum was in our favor, and we had an opportunity to win that game, and we just came up short. So knowing Sean McVay, like you do, like I do, I think that we all know he feels the same way, is that, look, Eagles are a great team. They had a lot of adversity, but they were in control. They had Matthew Stafford, the better quarterback, the Super Bowl winning quarterback in that one, with a chance to win. And it just did not go their way. And look, you got to give them credit. I mean, they lost to a really good, very, very talented football team. McVay said, give the Eagles credit. It's an excellent football team. They were able to make enough plays, but love this group. And I'm just really sad that this journey is over. This was a special season. It's as much fun as I've had, as much as you've ever wanted to do right for the people in that locker room. We've had a lot of special teams, but this team, there was something special about them. I think I'm up here pretty shocked because I know a lot of people didn't think we could come in here, but we had the full expectation to come in here, and I don't think anybody expected the end of the season to be right now. The finality of it is tough for me to swallow because of the love and appreciation I have for this group. So my big takeaway from McVay's comments there are that he said that this is as much fun as he's had as a coach. So he's locked in. He's re-energized. And the reason why the Rams had the season they did was mainly because of Sean McVay and the culture that he's built in Los Angeles. If you were going to draft coaches in any sport, coaches, managers, look, I'm wearing a Rams hat. I host a Rams show, but I don't care if it was any other team. I would be saying Sean McVay. The age, the versatility, he can take young teams to the playoffs that aren't expected. He can take veteran teams that are expected to win the Super Bowl to Super Bowl victories. Sean McVay, all he does is win. He's top 2. He's not 2. He's the top coach in the league, in my opinion. And by the sounds of it, he's still all in on this franchise and excited about the future. Now, he also said, you got to give Philly credit. They did their thing, made enough plays. And obviously, Saquon was excellent today. I think the 2 turnovers were really costly, but I'm going to not make any excuses, and I'm proud of our team. And I'm proud of this Rams team, too. This one stings, this one hurts, but still, that Rams team definitely made you proud if you have been following this team throughout the year and realize what they've been through. But like he said at the end, I mean, Saquon Barkley, he just absolutely had his way with the Rams this season. Week 12, 255 yards on 26 carries, 2 touchdowns. The divisional round, 26 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. We talked about it in the preview show. You got to limit those explosive plays. He has more 20-yard runs than anyone in the league. He had 17 going into this one. He broke off 2 big ones, but still they had a chance to win. And in each of the games against the Rams, he had 2 touchdown runs of at least 60 yards. So just explosive and one of the best players in the league. Got to tip your cap. And the thing is, the Rams, they tried to stack the box. You brought some extra defenders towards the line of scrimmage. You had run blitzing plays, but just nothing was working against a great player. But coming up next, Matthew Stafford. We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford and his future with this team and the comments that he had. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So we're going to talk about this more in future episodes, the future Matthew Stafford, but he did have some comments after the game when he was asked about his future with the team. Stafford said, "It's 30 minutes after the last game, so I'll take some time to think about it, but I feel like I was playing some pretty good ball." And then he was asked if he has football left in him, and he said, "Sure, feels like it." And he said that with a big smile. And I think that if you're going to take anything away from the offensive side of the football in this one, it is that Matthew Stafford, on his best day, still is the top 5 to 10 quarterback in this league. He throws for 324 yards, had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and that's in the snow. Did have the costly fumble, but still, he's not ready to hang him up. And I want to see Matthew Stafford back with this team. I don't think that the rebuild is here, especially when you look at the fact that, I mean, just ask the Miami Dolphins, right? I mean, there's no guarantee for any other quarterbacks, and you have a defense that is emerging. Hopefully you can keep Chris Shula for another year and add a couple more weapons on offense and add some linebackers on defense and possibly look at the cornerback position as well. I think that's another need. We'll get into all those needs as well. But still, Matthew Stafford still got it. He's still got it. I mean, I truly believe that he's won a Super Bowl. He's already beat the game once. Now he's playing the video game on story mode, and he just wants to keep playing and adding to his legacy. And he wants that golden jacket, that yellow jacket. He wants to be in Canton. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, man, name a better duo. Name better winners. So I want to make sure he's still in this organization. But by the sounds of it, he still wants to play. And it's not like he was considering retirement. But the way that contract is structured, there's a way to get out of it if the Rams wanted to. And Matthew Stafford could be on a different football team if they thought that was the direction they wanted to go. So after this run, let's say the Rams tank this year. He gets injured. They win 5 games. They miss the playoffs like a lot of people thought they were. Then sure. But I think the last part of the season let us know that you keep Stafford vertical. You put the weapons around him. This team can compete for a Super Bowl championship. They can raise the Lombardi trophy with Matthew Stafford. But yeah, I just want to thank all you guys out there too. The Ramily rocking with us here on Locked On Rams on YouTube and on the podcast all season long. We've got a jam-packed offseason. We're going to do interviews with players, coaches. We're going to have breakdowns, and you got to stay locked in. I think the offseason is where championships are really made. In free agency and the draft, look at the way this team is drafted. That's why they're in the position they're in. So if you're a big fan of this team, it's almost as important, if not more important, to lock in the offseason. So it's just a more rewarding experience when you just follow this team 24/7, 365. But we're going nowhere. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts here at Locked On Rams, man. This one hurts. But proud of this team. Proud of this team. The Rams did not go out without a fight. But that's going to do it for this episode. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.